How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, April 17th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This you can watch all of our NBA, MLB, NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel, and Draftkings cash lineup. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
What's up, man?
Hey, basketball tonight. There was a couple pretty good games. There was a I was wrong. You were right yesterday about the Portland and OKC. Man, I thought OKC was a come ready to play. And Westbrook, man, there's something going on with that dude, man. But yeah, that game ended up being a disappointing game to watch. But yeah, man. So we got some good games to talk about on this slate. I'm ready to jump into it if you are, bro.
So the one thing that we talked about with that Portland Oklahoma City series was Paul George and CJ McCollum kind of being a mismatch. McCollum goes for 33 on 12 of 22. And then you take a look at, I thought it would be a Westbrook game. I thought that with Paul George somewhat injured, not being able to do the things he's been able to do this season, I really thought that Westbrook would look to take over. But I pointed out the guy's not shooting the ball well. Like, he hasn't shot the ball well all season. And tonight you see him go 5 of 20. 5 of 20. I mean, that's a lot of missed shots, and that's the reason why it's 114.94.
Yeah, for sure. And he's just taking bad shots. I mean, he's going into lane wild. I think in the past 2 games he got 4 offensive charges. He's just trying to bully people, and we're gonna call it a little bit more tighter in the playoffs. So hey, let's jump in.
It's like we said though, in the past he's been really good at going to the rack and leaving it off for Adams. And if you look, so many times there's 2 guys in the lane on Adams and he can't drop the ball off.
Right, and then he's getting the offensive fouls. Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, let's jump into this first game. First game, we got Boston leading the series 1-0. Indiana's going into Boston. This game has a 203 over under. Boston's favored by 7.5 in this one.
So 84-74 was the score of game 1. Boston won that one. Really a grind down game. I mean, you had the third quarter of that game where Boston outscored Indiana 26-8. Corey Joseph, your leading scorer. Look, we like Corey Joseph. We like Corey Joseph all year at 4.3. But Corey Joseph can't be your leading scorer if he can't be your leading scorer if you're going to win this series. I don't think that there's really any hope here for Indiana. Sabonis is probably the best play in my opinion at 6.4 coming off the bench, just because of the matchup that there's nobody to match up with him when he's in the game. So you have to look at Marcus Morris or Al Horford extending their minutes if you're going to take Sabonis away. I think this series continues to be a grind down series. I do think that Miles Turner can get it going. It's just, look, you can't let the Boston Celtics control the pace in this game. You can't. And Indiana didn't shoot the ball good. I mean, Collison was 3 of 11, Bogdanovich 4 of 11. Bogdanovich is a guy that's really been a spark plug for them this season. I think I'm okay looking at a Wesley Matthews at 3.8 as a drop spot play. If he gets it going, it's a guy that can get to help stretch the floor out and maybe loosen that defense up a little bit. Wesley Matthews was 3 of 8, 2 of 6 from downtown. Not great, but I mean, did score 8 points, and he can shoot at a better percentage than 2 of 6 or 3 of 8. So as a whole, they didn't shoot the ball great, but that is a testament to Boston's defense for one. But I think the pricing is really fair. I don't mind Wesley Matthews at 3.8. Don't bank on Corey Joseph being your leading scorer again. I just don't think that's going to happen. Sabonis is the guy I think is the best play, and I think Miles Turner is in a good spot if they can hit some shots. If you can get Bogdanovich and Wesley Matthews to hit some shots to space the floor, then I think Miles Turner can have a really solid game.
On the Celtics side of things, you gotta like a bunch of the starters. They're all gonna play 32 plus minutes. The fair price. I really like Jaylen Brown. He struggled the first game. He's getting some starter minutes with Marcus Smart, off of the floor. But one thing I will say is yes, he is the starter. But Hayward, he's gonna come off the bench and he's gonna get some minutes split with Jaylen Brown. I like Jaylen Brown's price though, 4.6. He does have some upside. If he's playing well, I feel the coach will keep him in there. But like last game, he was kind of struggling a little bit from the shot. Hayward ended up getting 30 minutes off the bench. So, you could kind of bank on both of those guys both playing at least about 25 minutes, give or take either way. Kyrie Irving, 9,000, very fair price tag for him. You need 45 for him to hit value. Celtics would love to win this game at home, get the 2-0 series lead, and kind of be in the driver's seat. So, you got to look for Kyrie Irving to have a solid game. Jason Tatum, 6.9. He has to pick up, a little bit of extra minutes with Marcus Smart out. So I like Jason Tatum. Horford, it's a tough matchup for him. If I was going to kind of not really go with any other starters, he would be the guy I probably would kind of leave out of this. 7.3 price tag. You need about 36 for value. He's definitely a GPP play, but it's a tough matchup against Miles Turner. He's a big dude, and then you got some bonus coming in as well. A couple big guys that could bang down low. So he would be kind of the odd man out. And then the other guy I mentioned is Hayward. He's going to be the sixth man off the bench and get the most consistent minutes of anybody. And that's really where I'm at with the Celtics. It's kind of the other four starters outside of Horford and Hayward off the bench.
I couldn't disagree with you more about Horford. I just couldn't. Shot the ball poorly, still had 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. One of the best passing big men in the game. I don't see this series staying at under 90 points for each team. I just don't see that happening. I think that you saw Indiana shoot the ball very poorly. I think that changes a little bit. I think there's more points scored in this game, and I think Al Horford can get you 15 points, 11 rebounds, 5, 6, 7 assists every game in this series. I think his assist number will go up as this series goes on.
Yeah, for sure. Fair enough. I like Al Horford. Like I said, he always has some upside to get you 40, 45 fantasy points. Moving on, next game we're going to go with, you mentioned it before we even got on here. There's no way for Detroit to even have a chance in this series. You got Detroit going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. This game has a 212 over-under. Milwaukee's favored by 15 in this one.
121-86 is the final score in the first game. Look, man, the interesting thing here is that the news is that Blake Griffin is, quote unquote, lobbying the medical staff of the Pistons to let him play. I guess he's been ruled questionable for game 2 and game 3, and we'll test out the knee tomorrow. We'll see what happens. If they're going to have any chance to get in this series, they have to have Blake Griffin. Thon Maker goes 2 of 10, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 personal fouls, takes 6 3-point shots, and goes 0 for 6. That's not what you're looking for out of a production spot, your power forward, a guy replacing Blake Griffin. Look, Luke Kennard, your leading scorer in this one. If Blake Griffin is out, I don't have any problem with Kennard. He'll get extended run. At 4.1, it's a good price for a 3-game slate on a guy that's going to see a ton of opportunities to shoot the basketball, a guy that'll probably start. If he doesn't start, he'll get a ton of run off the bench. So, he played 28 minutes, was 8 of 14, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So Drummond, you can take a shot here if you want, but Drummond didn't have he went 12 and 12. This game was out of hand. And one thing you'll see in game 1 and game 2 of playoff series is, especially if there's a quick turnaround, if the game's a 15-point difference at the end of the third quarter, teams will shut it down. Like, they'll shut it down and they'll say, okay, you got this one. We're going to go and we're going to get ready. We're going to rest our guys. We'll get ready for game 3 or for game 2. So Blake Griffin is kind of the determining factor. I think this game can be close if Griffin plays and he can get a full allotment of minutes. But if he doesn't play, I think Luke Kennard's the one guy I'll look at. Maybe Ish Smith off the bench. That's really it, man. This is a tough spot for Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, Bucks, they absolutely dominated them first game, as you mentioned. And you know, the guys didn't play their full allotment of minutes. But, you know, you got to start with Antetokounmpo. I mean, he's going to probably be the MVP. It's going to be him or James Harden. Personally, I think he should get it. But, yeah, man, that's really where you got to start. The guy got 50 fantasy points in like 24 minutes. I honestly think it's probably going to be another blowout. I mean, at home, I think if Detroit steals any of them, it's probably going to maybe be game 3 when they kind of go home and maybe get one game out of it. But I don't see it happening. You got to go with the best 3 players: Bledsoe, Antetokounmpo, Middleton. Those are the 3 guys that you want to target. They're all, you know, fair price. I know Antetokounmpo is almost 13,000, but I mean, his upside is probably. You know, him and James Harden have the 2 highest upsides on this slate. You're gonna have to pick one of those 2, and I definitely like Antetokounmpo in this spot. You just got to kind of worry about a blowout, and then you know, I guess GPP. You can look at Brook Lopez, Sterling Brown. They both played, you know, not too bad. It was a blowout, so I think you know. So do you think that the Pistons can make it anywhere competitive tomorrow at all, or you think it's going to be absolute just slobber knocker again?
No, look, if Blake Griffin plays, right? So if you look at one thing we've done all year long is we've liked centers against Milwaukee, right? But the problem here is that their number 2 player is not a guard to help space the floor. Their number 2 player is Blake Griffin, right? So when you take a guy like Blake Griffin and a guy who's really playing the point forward spot, you take him out of it. Now it's the Andre Drummond show, right? And you can, you know, Giannis, we've seen him play the 5, and Giannis can get rebounds. Giannis can do all these things. It's a one-man show. And now you don't have any other shot makers really on the floor. They struggle. The one thing Detroit struggled with all year long is perimeter play, and they got shredded. They got shredded on the perimeter, and Andre Drummond was a non-factor.
Yeah, so I mean, if Griffin plays, I think it's a lot better chance to at least be somewhat competitive. So like I said, Bledsoe, Middleton, Antetokounmpo are the main guys. You can look at Lopez, Sterling Brown as GPP plays, and then you know one more guy I want to just mention is we got to kind of wait and see if we hear anything on a minutes, you know, kind of up bump or whatnot. But you got Mirotic, and they showed they really liked this guy before he got hurt. 4,300. First game back, he was on a minutes limit. He played like 14 minutes. If they say he's going to play a couple more minutes and get, say, 22 minutes, for example, at a 4.3 price tag, I think he has some upside, you know, at that price. So we just got to kind of wait and see on that kind of news. But outside of that, I mean, I'm not really going to go too deep into the bench with the playoffs right now starting. I mean, if it's a close game, the starters are going to play minutes. That's really what it is when it comes to the playoffs, man. So that's really where I'm going to keep it with the Bucks.
Unfortunately, it's the playoffs, and teams don't like to tip their hand. I don't think we'll hear anything else about Mirotic and a minutes being bumped up until it just happens.
Right.
But let me ask you this: Are you cool on this slate? Without Blake Griffin playing, paying $13,000 for Giannis in 23 minutes?
No, not if Blake Griffin doesn't play. I don't. Because I think that I would probably go Harden just because I think that game will be a little bit more competitive.
Man, they won by 30 though.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we gotta pay up somewhere, bro. It's gonna be Giannis in 23 minutes or Harden, you know. So yeah, I get you. So moving on, man. Let's go jump into that game. So the final game we're gonna talk about is gonna be Utah Jazz going into Houston to face the Rockets. This game has a 212.5 over under, and the Rockets are favored by 6.5 in this one.
I think this is gonna be a different game. Okay, and let me tell you why. So 39 shots were taken by Gobert, Rubio, and Mitchell combined, and 12 shots out of Ingles and Favors. We know what Ingles has been all year long, and the one thing Ingles does, 2 things he does. One, without a point guard on the floor in Ricky Rubio, Joe Ingles has acted like the point guard, and he's been able to. I mean, he was an auto lock when Rubio was out in a lot of cases, especially if his price was under $6,000 or even at the $6,000 mark. Number 2, he spaces the floor when he can hit threes. You can't give a guy like that 4 shots. You just can't. So I think that's going to change. One thing you see in the playoffs is you see the game slow down a little bit, and you see teams run more set plays. I think you'll see more shots for Joe Ingles. He's a better shooter at this point in his career than Donovan Mitchell is. Donovan Mitchell's he's like Yasiel Puig, man. He's like the wild horse. He just kind of goes. You know what I mean? Like he just kind of goes. He's not. Yeah. So I think, and then you look at the bench for them, and Jay Crowder took 9 shots, was 1 of 9. So with Ingles, Crowder, Favors, they made 7 shots out of 21 opportunities. So those 3 guys got 21 shots. It's just not enough. And as a whole, their best players didn't take enough shots. You're talking about they took 72 shots basically in this game, and that's not enough against Houston. It's not. So, I'm not going to load up Rudy Gobert here. Donovan Mitchell's the GPP play just because of the volume. But Joe Ingles is the guy I like. I think you see a much different game out of Joe Ingles. Ricky Rubio is a full fade for me for the simple fact that it's Chris Paul and it's the playoffs. And Chris Paul is such a good defender when he's engaged. I do think Jay Crowder is a very interesting play as well at 4.6, especially going 1 for 9. I think he matches up well in this series. He only had 3 rebounds on 9 points. I think that changes. I think the 2 things you see change in this game are Joe Ingles gets more shots and Jay Crowder scores more points, shoots a better percentage, and gets more rebounds.
Yeah, on the Rockets side of things, there's 3 guys that I really like, and they're just my guys that I'm going to really play on the Rockets. I really like Chris Paul, 8.3, very fair price tag. Eric Gordon's going to play 30 minutes and shoot 15 times, 4.5, very good price tag for him. And then we talked about it, James Harden and Antetokounmpo. We got to pay up for one of them. We may be able to even fit both of them in there because the pricing I feel is pretty fair on this slate. So yeah, man, I like James Harden. Him and Antetokounmpo have the crazy high upside. For me in this spot, I think I'm going to go Harden over Antetokounmpo. Like you said, you feel it. Utah is going to come at it and be a little bit more competitive in this game. I think it has a much better chance to stay close than the Detroit game, especially if Blake Griffin is out. So yeah, I like Paul. I like Gordon. I like James Harden. So I have a question for you. Do you like Capella at 8.7 more, or do you like Horford at 7.3 more?
I honestly like Horford on this slate. I do, and I just think that you got to figure out where you're going to spend up. Horford Capella against Gobert. I don't like it that much. I actually think Gobert has a decent. I think he turns it around and has a little bit better outing. Like I said, I mentioned the poor shooting. But one guy you got to mention here on Houston that you didn't mention is Daniel House. He played 25 minutes. That's a lot of minutes, man. And I know you're talking about Eric Gordon playing, he's going to play 30 minutes. But Daniel House at almost the same price, just 5 less minutes. And House scores.
Right. I haven't got to the bench yet. I just wanted to show you something about Capella. That's why I was asking about the Al Horford thing. So Capella, his 8.7 price tag for value, we're going to need about 44 compared to, Horford, 7.3, you need about 35, 36 for value. I agree that Horford is a better play. Capella in 3 matchups this season already against against Gobert in Utah. He hasn't had no crazy good games. The most he got was 36. He has a 34, 36, and 27 in 3 outings. So, yeah, I'm not on Capella. So that's why I was just asking you about the Al Horford. I kind of like him a little bit more now after kind of going through the slate and looking at the centers. And then I definitely think that you can look at Daniel House. He is getting a bunch of minutes off of the bench. And then another guy that I think you can look at GPP play outside of House is you can look at Kenneth Faried, 3.9. I think he plays 16 minutes. And, he just needs a little bit of minutes to give you some upside on that kind of price tag. But yeah, man, outside of Faried and House, as you mentioned, anybody else stand out for you on the bench, or that's kind of where it's at with Houston?
I really like the call on Faried. 11 points, 6 rebounds in actually 16 minutes. So
right.
I think Faried and Crowder have an opportunity to pretty much have the same series.
Yeah. For sure. And like I said, I mean, the price tag is very fair on Fareed. I think he is a really good player. And Crowder, too, 4.6. So, hey, man, that's it. That's what we got for you guys. 3 games. We're going to be with you guys all the way up into the finals, talking basketball still. If you haven't already, make sure to click the subscribe button on this channel so you don't miss any of our videos that we post every day. And yeah, man, hey, check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Thanks very much for helping me out with this video, bro. And, hey, good luck on your guys' contest tomorrow. Peace out.